Welcome back to the Intel Esports Arena here in Burbank, California. My name is Stunna, and I'm the host here on the Xfinity Analyst Desk, and we're about to dive into two new matchups here between Splyce and Misfits. One for which I am certainly excited to watch how this Misfits team plays. It's always a pleasure to watch these guys, especially that the French are here in full force. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, they have big airs, right? I mean, how can you not be excited to watch any team led by big airs?
Bear Gares. You ever see the Twitter account? It's like his old dog has a Twitter account. It's like Bear Gares. It's kind of interesting in some way. Anyway, what's more interesting than that is going to be our first two matchups. We're going to be looking at Train and Nuke. But first, let's take a look at this Misfits lineup.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I mean, I think we were singing the tune of Sick earlier, so I think he's had his time in the sun. What about Shazam, right? So if the win condition for Misfits is what, Eric?
Well, if Shazam gets kills, usually they win. Yeah. That's usually the rule of thumb with them. But unfortunately,
Go on.
Sorry. I was going to say that they have every one of them has potential to literally carry the match, as we've seen in the past.
The real win condition here is if either of you can say Deva Duvek's last name.
Dobro Savlyak.
Okay, I'm leaving.
I'm not.
Savljevic.
Nonetheless, these guys have come in here, and you know, they've gotten a lot of praise, and rightfully so. They're killing it. Amanek on fire.
Yeah, absolute pugger, scrimmer, match player. He can play it all. I'm a big fan of Amanek. I've been singing his praise since before the first match of the season, and I love what I see. He's gone above and beyond.
Yeah, I think they're one of the teams that is almost a complete team. They have the in-game structure, they have in-game leader, they have 4 potential just people that can carry and
lights out, right?
Lights out, yeah. Get frags, and I mean it shows like a lot of their matches, even if they lose, it's pretty close for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, what did they come back from being 3-12 down on T side against Optic, right? Even though they lost that match, coming back from that, just climbing that mountain is not easy, right? Like, just staying motivated round in and round out. Like, what do you even say? Like, let's just play this strat, just play the round, right?
Play the strat, play the round.
Yeah,
something about that sounds like how the game works. But let's take a look now at a team that was 16-1 earlier in the season by Renegades. Let's talk about Splyce.
Good old Splyce. Now, they do have Davey, which is a plus. I think Davey has been fragging pretty hard as well, also as Drone. I like to see more of Semphis and Roka to kind of step it up just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, last thing about Davey is that he's a voice activation user on Mumble. So, I mean, automatically he's the best player in Pro League right there.
Well, guys, I do have to hustle you along. Let's get some quick predictions from you guys.
Splyce.
What? You serious?
I just want to yell the word Splyce.
It sounds cool. But then again, let me also remind you, our first map is going to be Train. So maybe let's go ahead and clarify it down to that.
Misfits.
Misfits.
Yeah.
Misfits.
So I wanted to say Misfits now. Well, let's take a look at the Betway odds and see if you guys agree and how this one's going to shape up. Does this look about right to you guys?
I think that's pretty accurate.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if Blonders can also agree, because it is about time to get into the matchup, but we can't get there without introducing our commentators, or reintroducing, I should say. What's up, guys? How's it going?
Pretty good. Just ready to get in this match.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, then how about you guys just get in the match then?
Not ready? All right.
All right. Take it away. See you there.
All right. Thank you very much, Stunna. Yeah, so we're going to be jumping on a Train for our first map here, changing it up a little bit as we head over there. What are your thoughts going into Train between these two teams?
Yeah, I think definitely Misfits does have a big edge on this map. Splyce's Train is a little bit suspect, I want to say. Like, it seemed like a couple of things I would watch out for in this match is Semphis. He always ended up being like last alive with his op and not having much impact at all. It's like a really big investment, and he died a lot with it without getting a kill. And it's not even that he was like missing a lot of shots, but he wasn't creating a lot of opportunities for himself. So I want to like keep an eye on that, because it's like just like a big money pit to have like an opera that's not having an impact, whether or not they're missing shots. Like, if you're not finding opportunities, you might as well just be rifling, because then you can help move the round along faster. So on T side, maybe avoiding that, and maybe just like having somebody who's got a rifle who's like your best clutch player that you want to keep alive at the end of the round. And I think one good thing about Splyce is they have like a good eco strats. So that's a really important thing. It's funnily enough, like a team who's going to like lose a lot more rounds in general, who's like not doing as well in pro leagues, going to lose more rounds in general, should have like a lot more eco strats, and sometimes you can win those rounds as well. You know, it's Counter-Strike, so the fact that they have that, that's something good to say about them. And also, Misfits are quite susceptible to egos, so there's an opportunity for them to take advantage there too as well.
I think this was one of the maps that they pushed Optic almost beat them on, if I remember correctly, right?
It was Inferno. I can't actually remember if it was Train.
Actually, no. So no, it was if it was Inferno, it was Inferno and Overpass then. So this one.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you if that matchup makes you hopeful at all for Splyce this one, but obviously that question is now thrown out the window.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's still some good stuff to say about Splyce's Train, but I think they've still got stuff to work on. Misfits are definitely like favorites here, but it's going to be interesting to see this. Like, I love seeing teams face up against Misfits. They're kind of like this like third or fourth gym leader, where and they have like a very unique style. So not a lot of teams play quite as structured, if any, in NA Pro League. And I'd say at some points maybe it's almost to a fault, but it also poses an interesting threat to teams that are a lot more elusive, where it like challenges their communication to a strong degree, and also like they're gonna have like fakes that are really well thought out. So that's gonna put Splyce to the test in like different areas.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the for Misfits, right? This is one of the rare teams that has actually kept the roster together between seasons, as we know, and it always changes things up, especially with this postseason happening as well. Quite a few of the teams kind of changing up their dynamic a bit. But Misfits stayed constant. I mean, from like halfway through the last season up until now, they've kept that same 5 core man roster, and they've been working together, and it's worked out really well, especially at some events. You know, you look back at like tours and whatever, they had those upsets. Bit of a falling off since then, but at the very least in online matches, they can consistently perform, as we've very well seen since they're currently 3rd place in the league.
Yeah, and it's cool. They play online, and also it's like a team that's like we saw Luminosity online.
About that.
Yeah, Cello and Nekas, who are amazing in Pro League. Like, I honestly just think they maybe not used to the land pressure or whatever it was, but obviously are still good players. I like to kind of think that good players are just good players and just take some time. But here it is, the straight up B hit that ends up stopping with Sick dying immediately. So I think he wanted to try to get very aggressive at B, pull in, rotates quickly, and with those decoys at Ivy, make it seem like they were going to do an outer hit. Not sure what the strat was out the gate now that they've lost a player, but maybe a quick adjustment as they do drop down ladder with a molly coming out of T-Con.
A really quick adjustment, actually, and they even line up the smokes to give this a little bit more breathing room going in. Immediately finding a trade kill for their earlier loss, but it gets traded right back, and he finds a second one, too. All this coming from Davey. Of course, he's not going to last very long, but Mitch chiming in. Amanek tries to fake the plan a little bit, trying to figure out where he is, first of all, but then Roka is going to take him down to end the round for Splyce.
That's a really funny situation. You're like running backwards into the guys above you. You're like both running the same way, but as long as you stay as far as he is, it's going to be hard to hit. But yeah, it just comes down to like some nice USB headshots, the one smoke to assist, but I think Sick going down is a real wrench in the plans, because that's a body in the first place, and then also it's like a guy who you're expecting to pull a rotation, if not also get a kill. Now we move on to round number 2. Misfits are going to have 3 people with armor. A couple have spent all their money, some have decided not to. Or Amanek and Shazam, to be precise. I actually quite like Deagle no armor, just because it's kind of like the op, where I feel like you can kind of glass cannon it, since you get that first bullet potential, and you usually like post it up on angles, trying to get one bullet off, and you either hit it or you don't.
Devo's position being a pretty good example of that right there. Yeah. He's just trying to peek down ramp really quickly.
Right. And so, and then the benefit is obviously you keep the remaining $600, $700 into the next round.
So very slow for Misfits, despite them being pushed forward in a relatively quick fashion. We can already see Shazam out and like sandwich out on the site and everything too. So Drone is starting to push back in, and I just realized too he had already done damage to Drone, so he's got him pretty low at 50 HP. The rest of the team slowly inching out. Now they don't have the bomb with them at this point, which is the only real negative about their play.
This has a really big negative. It makes things a lot more uncomfortable, because you know you've got to like delay for like, now you've got to delay for like 15 seconds as opposed to like 5 before to get the bomb close to the site. And
they've lost all of their bomb train presence as a result of that delay, so probably not even going to be looking at the opportunity to get a plant on this round anymore. Almanac and Sick, well, do their best to try and sneak up and plant the bomb, but there's 2 guys sitting right next to the bomb train, so it's going to be very hard to successfully accomplish that. And there we go. There's the denial. Almanac's not going to last very long after that either. Splyce, a quick closeout to get their second round.
Yeah, so once everybody's out in these like very risky spots with no utility, meaning you've just got to like stay, watch a couple of angles, move a little bit, because Splyce are going to start to rotate in. It makes you more and more nervous knowing that you've got like to delay for 10 to 20 seconds as opposed to just a few. And and normally if like you might even want to decide to push further because you haven't even got those kills, but now that you've got this in mind that you have to delay longer, you don't want to take those risks, it ends up working against you. Now we have another round where it's just a very low buy, and now we actually might see the meta evolve a little bit because of the lack of aim punch, where second rounds might be won without having to buy 5 people or have 5 on armor. And that means more money into the next round, even if you lose, which is kind of cool. So you don't see people just depleting all their income because they feel like they have to be able to win the round.
We have everyone from Misfits falling back pretty quickly after a little bit of fun there by Ivy. Not going to get a whole lot done, obviously. In fact, quite a few of their players take a decent amount of damage. Shazam and Sean getting dropped down to a combined HP of like 75 damage taken there. And now, wow, they're just going to push themselves through the white halls pretty quickly over here to the back box halls at B, where Roka sits here. He's waiting for this. So he might get himself a whole buffet of kills in a second here. If Splyce don't watch, or excuse me, if Misfits don't watch out for their positions. He's even pushing all the way up to the box, too. They are paying attention to those back halls. I'm not sure if they're expecting to find someone this far forward. He's got the bomb. Rotations should now be on their way, too, and that's not even going to be needed. Roka just sprays them all down. A quick 4K for him. And Sick, he's the only one alive. Did sneak into the site. He's trying to move as far away from Roka as possible to try and line up for a position where he could maybe sneak off a kill on someone else, but that's not going to happen.
Nice spray, 4 kills, lots of money into the SMG, best situation, best case Ontario, best situation for the CTs, so. And, you know, deny the bomb plan as well, which was the main goal of Misfits. Now they buy up, and we can kind of see exactly how much has been taken out of this round because they weren't able to get a bomb plant. It's a whole nade set for everybody on the team, apart from Amanek, who I think was one of the players who decided to deagle no armor. So there you go, another case for the deagle no armor.
So default split again, but actually, well, it looked like they were going to go, at least for Sick there himself. Looked like he was going to try to go pretty fast outside, but decided not to. And there we go. Now he moves back out. They even counter out the aggression this time, too. It's a very different story from what we've been seeing previously. Since Misfits got their guns in their hands, they go to fragging out almost immediately. It's just Semphis left alive now for the side of Splyce. And he's sitting back, was expecting a ramp play. Not going to find it, though. They're all outside. And in a moment, looks like Semphis is just going to throw himself down the old bomb tunnel, looking for the kill, but he just gets a shot from Shazam.
Yeah, just sees way too many people, and yeah, Misfits just win the round, just waiting for pushes. We're basically about to execute, and I think if Splyce waited like a few more seconds, might have been able to flank, because it didn't seem like Misfits were going to hold for that much longer. But because they did, easy kills. Now Splyce, in Splyce's eyes, they saw it as a round where they're not necessarily going to win 5v5 sitting in sight, so they decided to do something aggressive to get an early advantage that they might have fallen back off of, or if they only killed one person, maybe just like gone for more control. But now they know they also did it because they have enough money to buy on this round. Unfortunately, they lost, but they have moved on to greener pastures. Better buy altogether here for first place and double up setup.
Sick, still slowly creeping his way out here again, too. He got away with a kill in the last round by doing this. A lot more smokes in the way this time. Obviously, Splyce still the potential full buy, moving in there, catches Davey, but he catches him jumping and misses the initial shot. But he's going to ring Sick's own death bell there. Gets knocked out by Davey. Roka is sitting and waiting. He gets a quick double kill as well. And just like that, Misfits down to 2 players. A great response shot from Shazam, though, to finally knock Roka out of the round. He's got a lot more work to do, and that's going to be a good start as he takes down Semphis. Finally goes down to Davey, though, but he did leave enough time for Sean to get into this flank position. He's going to go in, looks for Mitch, lines up some great damage, but unfortunately didn't get the full kill, so it's not going to give him the momentum he needs to swing into the site and try to follow that through with 2 more pickups. He'll fall away. Probably going to end up looking to save at the end of the day here. Maybe picking up 1 or 2 more kills in the back halls. Yeah,
this is a real slugfest. Obviously a good hold-inner from Roka. And he was also a player who got put to the test when we watched him play yesterday. So that's somebody to watch for sure. I don't know if he saw the arm of Davey there. No, he found a good angle. Just lined that up perfectly with the wall so that he can catch someone on his off angle. Now Misfits, with the 1 round that they have won, even though it was super decisive, are back on a save and have... oh, they might decide if they got 2 AKs. Yeah, they might decide to force up here, considering they'll be facing a reset. Obviously on T side, you feel a little bit more rash with your buying decisions because you've got more opportunities to buy when you don't have as much money, just because everything's a little bit cheaper.
So the full buy leaves them, as you said, with the 3 AKs and 2 deagles. Not the best utility, but they haven't been relying on utility that much for executes anyway, so this is not a huge takeaway in terms of the strategy they've been playing up to. This time, though, by going on the default, it might have been more helpful. However, look at Sean. He doesn't even care about the molly. He tries to go right through. Drone, regardless, though, is ready for it. and immediately takes out Sean when he peeks out from Ivy.
So there's like a couple of really important points when you have like a huge economic advantage and you realize the other team's either on a force or a save. You'd like counter nade always early just to like make sure that you, at least to set the pace at the beginning of the half, unless you start to figure out if they like to play it slowly or not. But and then like put them to the test, force them to do aggressive things because they are going to be in like playmaker mode because they know that they can't win the round on fair terms. And then beyond that, all you have to do is be a little bit more passive, just because you have that man advantage and should be able to get it with the aid of utility.
Drone still waiting to see if he can catch a second player here by Ivy. And he certainly is going to have the opportunity to with Devo Duvek pushing forward potentially in a moment. He's waiting for, I think, the rest of his teammates to go in and actually start the execute. Not only that, but I think he's going to have a second player joining up with him as well. The guy over there by T-Con Sick just threw out a grenade over the top by Dumpster there. And in a second, they're going to be grouping up, so it's going to be a 2-2 push into the site, with 2 coming out from Ladder Room and 2 coming from Ivy. Obviously, Ivy's defense setup is a little bit different this time. They have a lot of close-up pressure on both of these choke points, though, so this is going to be a difficult push as they move back in. They've got to hit these entries. There's the first one. Mitch responds over here at Ladder Room, though, as he picks up a kill. Semphis also taking down Devo Duvek on the other side of the site. Shazam with one more exchange. It brings us down to a 3v2. Still an opportunity for Misfits, but they didn't check the bomb train, so Semphis is going to move in, but Sick saves his teammate at the final moment and follows it through, tries to push up to Ladder Room. That's only going to lead to his own death, though, and now leaves Shazam alone in a 1v2. He had the headshot lined up, but doesn't take the shot. And as such, Davey will take him down on the repeak. Yeah,
it does come down to a critical timing. A much better round than it seemed like it was going to be, considering that first kill came out so early from Drone, but everybody pitching in. Team Ace for Splyce, most, not headshots across the board, but a lot of good kills. And I actually don't mind that Semphis came out to try to kill that diffuser, or kill that bomb planner, even though he probably should have expected it to be covered. I think he was very close to being able to stop it, so ultimately Sick did a good job, though, in covering him. Misfits don't win that round, and that plant does do some good for their economy, allows them to spend maybe a little bit more frivolously in this round, even though they're going to have to save. And I'm curious to see what the eco strat is now. Sean going into T-Con after flashing out, lining up a smoke for Ivy, and helping his teammates probably run up here.
Yeah, and there's that smoke going way into the backside here now, but Drone is pushed forward. He's ready to take these fights. A bit messy on the spray, but at least he gets one kill here and does decent damage to his second guy. Davy's now ready to take up arms and play into that same position. He knows they're sitting around the corner. Great timing on the peak, too, but only gets a 1-for-1 again. Sick is going to take him down right after that, retrieves the bomb once more. Even going in to pick up potentially a rifle, too, but he missed that. So
I hate that you can hear those nades being thrown. Like, that's the reason Davey peeked. He was like, all right, 100%, I can kill him. I know exactly where he is, and I know that he's going to be an animation, so this should be an easy frag. It's really annoying, because some people only think about it as, like, oh, for pop flashes, but it is for every single nade, which is, I think, pretty dumb. But anyways, enough of my complaining. We move on to Sean Gare's in a pretty favorable position, but he's under heaven, and I don't think he expects anyone to be up here.
He's going to go check it.
Oh, maybe he will.
So this is on Mitch now to see if he spots anyone going up against him. Using the shots to distract it. Hello. There we go. Walks right up. Quick headshot. Clean headshot too, but the overpeaking again. This time from Almanac as he goes inside of Z there. Roka is going to find him out, take him down, and re-even the battle down to another 2v2. Still having Sean in heaven as well, so he's going to play to a bit of an awkward angle as he swings out though, tries to spray into it, misses, and now he's stuck. He does hold one kid up here, but Roka has one too, so that's not going to be too big of a deal as the rest of the CT start to move back out, looking for their opportunity to defuse. In the meantime, well, Sean's trying to delay so that Sick can complete this wrap. But Sean does go down before it's completed. Now those Sick can go back out, trying to stop the defuse. He's a little bit to the left, though. And as such, we are going to see the defuse happen regardless. And Semphis will also pick up a kill on Sick. Yeah,
could have been a different round if he got that spam through the smoke. Sean obviously made a critical play and an error in that same round when he was kind of looking a little bit lost up in heaven, but it was tough. It's like you appreciate that he's trying to be proactive, considering they don't necessarily win the round with him just being up there. He's also got like such a big advantage when taking a fight from that position, but at the same time put himself in a spot where he didn't even get to shoot bullets and just got killed straight up from someone just peeking wide on the train. So maybe he could have waited for someone to be forced to come up the ladder, but it's tough to say.
Relatively default lineup again for Misfits here to start off this next gun round, as they split their players 2 for 2 across the map. Looked like they were going to have some Ivy presence this time, though, but it's actually not the case. And as such, Semphis has been allowed to push all the way to the outside, sees that there's nothing here right now, and just smokes it.
Look, this is like such a different setup than what we're used to seeing. Like, we have pressure on all sides of the map from the CTs, and oh yeah, with so much control, can just focus on T-Con and ladder, and man advantage here as they move up.
Shazam a little slow in the reaction there. They do get a plant somehow. Ominek sneaks that off at the very least, but the 1v4 is going to be essentially impossible, especially from that position. So the round is still very much going to go by the way of Splyce, and they win it with 4 players left alive.
Yeah, so, you know, sometimes you see players crowded around the bomb train or sometimes on top of trains and, like, playing Ivy passive, but with Ivy control, it gives your teammates so much more confidence in the site, especially if you have Sempus all the way out there, knowing that, like, there is no chance that someone can even come up to a late split on a 3rd choke point on A. Instead, everyone can face forward, not have to think about not even think about their back, which affects your confidence in holding an angle. And they even had players pushed up, like, ready to fight players before they even came out of ladder, which is really important as well. So it is kind of contingent on them all winning their fights, because ladder control is taken, well then a kill is had for the T's, but with so much control, it was a really nice, I think, idea for Splyce.
And so, into another gun round for Misfits with that plant and the losing bonus that they're now building up. Does let them go in. The flash will hit a teammate, but okay. Now as the smoke goes out from the CTs, they just walk right into the spray line here for Davey. No flashes or anything to support that push. Kills get traded back, however, by both Shazam and Ominek, and they continue that. Okay. Now all of a sudden, Roko left alone here with a 1v3. He's not going to be quiet about the way he moves out here either. He uses the smoke so that he can safely push out from ladder. And here there's going to be some spam against him. And doesn't check that sandwich. So Ominek's going to take him down. And finally, we see a 2nd round for Misfits.
Yeah, it's tough to even call what happened there. They just were able to bust out and hit headshots. They killed all the rotators immediately. Like, perfect peaks all around from Misfits. And pretty much overwhelmed Splyce. And now they're actually in a position where, funnily enough, they're not in the best spot economically. Yeah,
despite winning, like, what was it, like 5 or 6 rounds in a row, I think they almost immediately have to eco here.
Yeah, so some good damage dealt. Will we see a Sempus buy? Find out this episode.
That is the question.
It is going to be a situation where, like, they know, so it's not even that much of a joke. Like, it should be a serious consideration, just because Misfits, if they lose this round, will be reset completely. Actually, last round they kept 4 alive, 3-4 alive.
On Misfits, yeah.
Yeah, so that they will have saved some money. They will still be poor if they lose this round, and we'll have to have some kind of, like, broken buy where 1 or 2 players can't get anything but pistols, which is very appealing probably for Splyce. On the flip side, Splyce have to consider, well, do they have enough of a good buy this round to actually, like, win it or not? And I honestly believe they're going to buy. I think they just will always bite on this situation. Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. You
can see the
they have a pretty solid buy. Yeah.
So 3 M4s, the op for Semphis and Drone going over to the ump there. Full utility for every single player too, so they managed to make it work. You can see a lot of the guns de-highlighted there, which again, for those that don't know, means that that's not the person that originally held that gun. So we did have to see quite a few of the guns get tossed around so everybody could afford to buy, but it still works out. And it leaves everybody with at least one big gun to play with here. And they're going to get aggressive again, too, specifically Drone pushing out over there towards Ivy and smoking it again. It's going to deny Misfits that little bit of control. It's a small token, but at the very least holds them back and delays their own strat for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of good map control here. Both their players are pushed up inner, and they have, like, a pretty good setup. I think where is our op right now? Semphis just holding on to T-Con, and Misfits have 2 smokes now left over. So there's an opportunity here for Semphis to have, like, free range on at least 1 or 2 players, which is a pretty big deal. And that map control has delayed Misfits down to under a minute now without having anything to kind of show for it. And are starting to just now clear out the halls at B.
Molly going down in a ramp here too is actually going to divert players to the back, but this is where Mitch is waiting. He has the trap. It's not going to be working with nades either, but Ominek just creeps right into his crosshair and makes that all a moot point. Not only that, but Devo Duvek is going to be able to pick up a kill at Ivy, taking down Drone. So it seemed like a good CT setup here from Splyce. Is actually being torn apart pretty quickly. Davey is going to try to turn that around. He misses on that 2nd kill, though, and that gives Sick the opportunity to turn it back around. Roka pushing in. He takes down Ominek, so puts this into a 2v3. The problem for Roka, though, is he doesn't necessarily have a clean way onto the site. He doesn't have a smoke to support this push, so he's just going to walk right into Shazam. And Devo Duvek picks up 1 final kill to knock out Semphis and win the round for Misfits.
So I'm like in 2 minds about the way that Davey played it, because it was great that he had T-Con control, and if people are coming down ladder and no one's actually attacking him, he's like perfect to catch people crossing into the site. Super overpowered position and gets a first kill because of it. But then when he knows that he spotted another person, that fight almost becomes 50-50, because that guy it's communicated to him that, okay, it's going to be a T-Con fight, so that guy just immediately looks towards him. If Davey stays alive, he's still a huge problem for them. And if he dies and doesn't get that kill like he just did, well, the hopes for Splyce diminish very quickly.
Sick gonna quickly find the kills. He pushes up over here towards the back box halls. Down will go Roka. Splyce in general just trying to play hyper-aggressive on this round to get to the 2 pushed out by Ivy, but Shazam already looking at this seems to know something's happening over here. And Sean is also going to push back towards T-Con too, so they clearly know something's up here. They're waiting for this one, and there we go. Goodbye to Drone, goodbye to Semphis, and the last 2 just wait on the A site. Not a whole lot that they're going to be able to do as the bomb is already being planted on B.
Yeah. They're going to take their guns and run. The only thing they have to save is...
Guns.
Guns, yeah. The only thing they have to save is basically giving Misfits any more money. And on their side, you know, they can save it and still get a bonus, but there's a kill being had. Mitch's the only one with a very blue USB.
And in a
I don't
moment,
like it. I don't like it. It looks tacky.
It's all right.
No, it's not. It's not all right.
Just looks like they took it out of Tron, to be honest.
Yeah. Low res.
So Amanek is going to take him down. No surprises there, and Misfits survive the round with all 5 of their players still alive. They're quickly building up a bank, as you can see there on the left side of the screen. As for Splyce, they're going to buy into this one. It is obviously going to be a little bit shaky there. Get to the 2 FAMASas and the ump having to come into the buy. But besides that, they all get full utility, so still a full buy, and it's right.
Yeah, it's tough. FAMAS is like, they can be a good gun. I personally just don't really like them, but some people are very good with them. Train has like many long angles, but at the same time, there's definitely a lot of fights here where you can get the AKs in close, and then they're a lot more effective. Ladder control taken early by the terrorists. The bomb is stationed out at T-Con by itself. If T-Con control is taken, this bomb could get stopped. Davy's sitting inside it, and I think they know by these Molotovs that they've got to worry about the fact that like Shazam's out here alone. He has an op and the bomb. And he's got maybe a teammate coming back to support him, because that's too big of a problem for him to deal with, especially if they want to split out through these 2 choke points. Ivy control taken once again, but no one in the middle of the site right now. Just 1 player back lanes. I think that's Semphis. He's not actually opping. Maybe could be in a more effective position, and yeah, it's kind of moving in to commit harder. But Davey going to play an important role in this round, even though he'll probably just get flashed and killed.
We'll see, or just get wallbanged too, as they're trying to take shots through it. It is going to be rolling back out though, and there you go. Sean takes him down, knocks Davey out of the round, and now alerts them to the presence out on the A-bomb site. They're definitely going to be pushing through T-Con here in a second. Switch is going through the motions to this point after a poor start to this half. Seem to be finding their stride quite nicely, and we'll see if the defenders out here on the A site can do anything to stop that now. So one going to be sitting over here at the short lane. Semphis going to be trying to stop anything that he can, but they already know that he's there, so they can just avoid him for the most part. Player behind Bomb Train has been taken down now, 2. Just 2 remain. Mitch is going to try to lurk back over here through ladder room and see if he can sneak out onto the site at all. But for Drone, he's been pushed back into Ivy, and they know that he's been pretty much the only Ivy player so far in this half too. So if Misfits have been paying attention, they should know he's somewhere around there. Same for Mitch, as he's also been spotted quite often towards that ladder room on retakes.
So Misfits got a tell from Splyce on that T-Con control where the mollies came in, and Davey waited so long. I think that in his mind, oh, they're basically either going to lurk into me and I'm going to be able to get a free kill, or they're just not going T-Con and I can catch them like as they come out ladder once again. But Splyce at a certain point were basically doing nothing. They just had like players in very risky positions, but it was up to Misfits whether or not they wanted to retake. And I think they saw basically an opportunity to get a kill as they retook T-Con, and the site itself was free because there was no counter nades from anybody. There was no nades that could damage people. There was only smokes and flashes, so it was going to be very hard for Splyce to do anything beyond that. Like just hoping that a huge individual play comes out from their pushed up player.
Shazam with the flash, or Shazam getting naded. The hell and back, essentially, has already brought down to 16 HP, but that's all the nades that Splyce has. They're not going to have to worry about that anymore, as all 5 players just sit with only CZs to play with. Davey has armor, but that's it. The flashbang to go down, good timing to counter the volley there too. And now Sick is going to be able to get a first kill here. Oh, all right. Damn. There's one from Shazam there, as he takes down Davey. Sick moving in 2 is going to be able to find Mitch, and 1 remains. It's just on Drone here now. Obviously not a whole that he can do. It's going to be another round for Misfits. Easily should go up to 6 to 7 now.
Yeah, almost certainly. Yeah, Drone getting bullied after being hurt on the ladder. Misfits are up to 6 and looking way better in this later portion of the half than they were in the beginning.
Let's see this off shot.
Yeah, just the wow, it's his first shot as well. That's a vac.
Nicely done. So Perfect shot from him. Nice little cleanup round there for Misfits to push themselves within 1 round of the tie, and that's what they're going to try to do here, but Splyce do get themselves back up to a full buy in it. 4 M4s, utility for them, and Sempis gets his op back in check too. They are going to play aggressively again as well. One player, Mitch, again, going to be pushing himself up here towards ladder room to try and fight here. We'll also see Roka. Originally, it looked like he was actually going to just push into those back halls, but just plays close up to the ramp inside of the B side. He sees the lone player here. Mitch takes some of that damage, but probably not going to see much. I think we're finally going to see another inner hit from Misfits after 5 or 6 rounds straight of outside plays.
Oh, wow. Are they going to rotate inner? Sempis on the lower ramp. The smoke comes down late. He's not going to re-peek just yet, and so the counter smoke actually pushes them back. Mitch realizes that he shouldn't actually rotate that quickly.
Might have heard him falling, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like they want to peek down just quite yet. It's gonna be hard to get down here. He has a really good advantage.
So this early read might have actually helped him out quite a bit. Not only that, but taking down Sick early on outside of T-Con there. For sure, they have to know he's down here. But Splyce have also rotated their players back. They've got both Sempis and Drone sitting just outside of Ivy. And Almanac is going to molly out the bottom of the ladder room just to make sure that Mitch doesn't follow them up top. Might be a signal to Mitch to actually go through and follow them after this fades away. We'll see what he decides to do. But time is getting low, and Misfits do have to re-engage soon, as otherwise they're not going to be left with enough time to actually get into the site and plant. Looks like they resolve to go over here towards Ivy. That is where the 2-man setup is positioned, though, which is not currently set up to crossfire. So Drone's going to have pressure against him. The flash knocks him out. Sempis gets the intel very late, actually, but still is able to flick back into it. Drops the bomb so they confirm it, but then is taken down seconds later. Before Mitch gets a kill, back downstairs in the ladder room, though, and Davey rolls out from Z to get the final 2. Finally putting another round on the board for Splyce.
Yeah, solid round overall. Misfits in that, like, losing that first kill early on to Davey. Not exactly sure how he was able to take advantage of T-Con like that, but it has been a big deal when Splyce are able to get the opening kill. They can kind of take it from there, whereas Misfits, even in the 5v5, look a lot more solid later in the round because they're much better at baiting up the utility than vice versa. And I think that's like finally a sign of life for Splyce, who just lost a bunch of rounds after being up 7-2, I believe. Oh, Devo Duvek coming down to fully ladder right off the bat. So here we are, 5v4 for Misfits. Great way to start off the last round of the half. Let's see how they take it from here. Davey, however, trading, but Sick has an answer of his own.
That early pressure going to be forced onto Davey again, but at the very least he gets the bomb onto the ground. Devo Duvek obviously still having this outside control, but Sempis is going to be completely flashed out. Perfect flashbang against him, let Sick move in pretty easily, knock him out of the round. Drone falling back here now. Roka does push the back halls and gets himself a kill against Sean at least, but the problem is he takes so much damage himself, loses 85 HP from that fight. So Drone's now the only player left at full HP, gets some good damage on Shazam, brings him down to 1 HP. It's so short getting that kill, and now trying to cross through the smoke. He gets taken down himself. Roka moves in, gets one more, but then Shazam will knock him out with that low HP and secure the 7th for Misfits. So they bring it back after a bit of a slow start themselves and bring it up to 7-8. They're 1 away from the tie and potentially taking the lead. Stick with us, guys, and find out after this break if they can indeed steal away from Splyce.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro League. We're halfway through the first map of our second match of the evening. Splyce taking on Misfits here. A map which everybody thought Misfits was going to be able to take pretty handily, but it hasn't shown itself to be that way. In fact, Splyce currently does have the lead coming off the first half, 8-7. They had a strong start. Bit of a bump in the middle, though, and that's where we really start to see Misfits kind of come alive.
Yeah, I think the adjustment is really important. We did see, like, that period, or the beginning especially, like a good start for Splyce where they didn't just look like they had free rounds as well. They had like good setups overall and they were rewarded for them. And I like them taking Ivy control in those couple of rounds they did, and it counted for, I think, like working towards winning the outer executes that Misfits had. The Misfits were really good in the mid and late round on some of the rounds that they did win later on, where they were able to bait out so much utility, run Splyce dry, leave them in positions where I think they were a little bit confused as to what Misfits were doing. And even in situations where they went down a man, like rotating all the way from inner to Ivy was, even though it didn't work out, was I think a pretty good attempt and making the most of it. So you could see why they were definitely a threat in the, for their T side on train. But overall, solid half from Splyce. Tough for them that they threw the lead, but I think Misfits really earned it back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw some great individual performances there coming out again too from quite a few of the players on Misfits really showing up. Meanwhile, on the Splyce side, again, Davey put into quite a few kind of rough situations, which could have, it really, if he performed a little bit better there, actually probably could have won quite a few more rounds for Splyce, since he was really that clutch player, since we saw so much action happening outside, always having to have him play up towards E-Box, and we saw those couple rounds, the one round where he had to go inside of T-Connector too, and then kind of got one kill, but then whiffed on the re-peek a bit there. Yeah. So we saw a couple situations where maybe he could have had a bit more impact, but still had solid impact throughout the course of the half. Yeah,
definitely had solid impact through the course of the half for sure. Now we move into the second half. Misfits CT side will get tested, and Splyce on the offense is going to be quite interesting. I think that's where they will have some more problems, maybe some trouble. Is like what we talked about at the beginning of the game, which was Semphis opping and him not being as impactful as I think he needs to be. I just feel like Semphis isn't a star player, and he is opping, and I feel like your opper is like either got to be your star player or your second best fragger. Yeah. So it might be hard to justify him picking that up over and over again.
Well, it is time, guys, to jump into it here as we're live with the second half, and Splyce will now go over to here to the T side with Misfits jumping onto the defense. Splyce does have the advantage, and they can keep it that way if they win the pistol. Let's see if they're going to be able to make that the case. We have a couple little mini raid boss buys on the board for Splyce, as they have a couple P250 armor purchases there. Roka and Semphis picking those up. Meanwhile, Mitch, Strone, and Davey obviously just going to be working with standard Glocks. And Misfits just all by armor too. Nobody going for utility on their side. But look at how heavily they've stacked into ladder room there. 3 players, I think 3, right? Yeah, 3 players sitting inside of ladder room. They keep 1 outside Shazam, and he should have heard this noise. They're going to have to destack around ladder room here pretty soon. Otherwise, they're all just going to find themselves stuck in there. Shazam, though, able to hold on his own regard. And I guess it's Shazam, so he can hold the site on his own there. And now dropping down, they see that 3-man stack. They'll also see it coming outside of T-Con, too, as Mitch tries to get away. Semphis, in the meantime, is still trying to lurk back in. He got all the way through to CT right now, so he's working his way back in. There was a good flashbang, too, but Sick is going to find Semphis before he can really have any impact, lurking in on that flank, and Mitch just being pushed back more and more. Finally, a kill for him, but ultimately, at 9 HP, again, it's the 1v4 with every single player on the other team having armor. It's going to be nigh impossible for him to clutch this out.
I definitely like the 3 ladder setup because having to make sure that you can kill people who drop down is really important, but also it's a pretty nice retake spot on outer. It also catches the other team off guard if they don't expect and they don't come ladder when they attack outside like they just didn't. And I think Splyce were expecting to have a couple of more enemies before they ended up seeing Shazam on the top of the bomb train there. Kind of a different spot for him to be in. He doesn't have to worry about a ladder because he's got 3 teammates there, and they're also helping him watch T-Con. So an interesting angle for him, and I think he could have died, but obviously his aim was on point and was able to shut down like the main part of the site take.
Yeah, so second round does take us into a pretty quick force for Splyce, just Deagle armor for most of their players. Davey going to go down a little bit less with the P250 and Roka over to a CZ. But it is very straightforward as all their players push into the back halls here and get ready to go for an inter-execute. I think Misfits even knows this. They haven't played forward this time. They're just sitting back. They're kind of going to let Splyce move in a little bit here, maybe and let them get the plant since they forced on this round. It didn't get into the last round. It won't really affect them forcing into like a 3rd round situation. They can kind of just sit back, take a little bit of site control, help down the damage a bit from range, and then actually focus on the retake once they've settled in. Rough for Semphis, and he just gets 1 tap by 6. Well, now Roka going to move out. No luck for him either, and And this is a great example of the great way to play this round by Misfits here so far. Mitch and the others just getting lit up slowly but surely. And for Davey, was going to attempt the flight, but I think they're going to expect this. Yep, Sean goes in, spots it right away. And there we go. A clean 5-man alive round for Misfits as they're going to take the lead.
Yeah, it's really hard to catch them off guard with that like late ladder flank. Misfits are a team that absolutely practice their retakes on every map. Like it's just palpable. You know, they're very comfortable and confident in doing so. They know exactly how to use their utility and not to burn it too much. And even though they give up the plants, it's like what they view as like the safest way to just guarantee the round and then move on. So, you know, with all that in mind, the plant went down, but I think Misfits are quite comfortable with that. And I think the one way to stop it when playing passive is to chain Molotovs and also like hit a really good grenade, because there's not that much. There's only like 2 lanes on either side of the bomb train that you can plant that are wide open if you don't smoke, and usually teams will only buy that ramp smoke, or you plant on the back of the bomb. If you keep mollying that out, it can be pretty good for just like trapping the planter and also killing him.
Well, Splyce will sit back on this round. They do have that 4 smokes that they bought into on this round to try and work something probably out on the A-bomb site. They're delaying it a little bit here. But you can already see 2 or 3 of their players in position to toss smokes out. And probably at the very least just try to get up another plant here, so they can have decent money going into the first gun round. Misfits, though, I think they know exactly what's happening. They've already got a 4-man stack set out here, obviously just like your default stack. They did just move the extra player inside, but I think with all these nades coming out, they're going to call him back pretty quickly and call for Sick to push into the back halls just to make sure this isn't some kind of a crazy fake. They try to move out, but you can see Roka, well, he gets past the threshold, everybody else gets stuck behind T-Con, so even more time for Misfits to set themselves up and just deny this push despite Splyce taking all that time to set up smokes and everything. It's not going to work out, and ultimately Misfits win it with only losing 1 player. Yeah, so this is a strat that Splyce used that they have like a couple of variations of. I think they actually have 3, so they have like one where they go inner, one where they go they don't push through the smoke, or one where they push 2 through the left side of the bomb train, and one where they push through the right instead. And you know, like I can explain all that, and it still wouldn't tell you much as to like how exactly to stop it. One way, of course, obviously, is when you see those smokes coming over. If you are pushed up, you know that you're going to have opponents coming out of T-Con, but that goes without saying on any round. So I think it's a cool idea, and Misfits were just really well set up for it. Roka trying to counter out this own aggression from the CT side now, as they're going to do the same thing that Splyce was doing in the last half. Just smoke outside after they've pushed to the very edge of Ivy. Deny them all of their pressure up on top. Splyce themselves looking for a little bit of aggression to the B site, but not going to be finding much in their current positions. Sick, after getting tagged down to about half of his HP, will fall back. And they'll even have support from Shazam available. But good early damage done by Splyce at the very least, just not able to get a whole lot of control following it up.
Mitch pushing across upper. Ivy control is somewhat denied, but it's actually like Sick who's taking damage. So, oh, that's actually at inner. So now that Ivy's opened up, Splyce see an opportunity to push into it. And I'm not sure if they're going to commit hard here, but it looks like they want to get the most out of the op pick. You can see that jump peek happening, and Davey lurking his way into T-Con. Oh, someone up close. Wow, kills him too. Just keeps his awareness at 100%. Sean Garris, however, in another spot. Really won't expect him to be here, it seems. Oh,
he saw Sean, but the thing is going to deal with 2 players at once. Still snuck in for that second kill, though, against Devo Duvek, so very well played by Davey. He'll get traded by Sean, but still, with those kills, now it's Splyce with the man advantage going back in. And they're not even going to be X-kin here. Look at this Roka just sneaking his way inside of the site. He calls it a clear. This could actually be a little bit dangerous. No, they're still going to go for the B play. I was about to say, it might be too clear to where they would call them all to move back in. They still would have to deal with Sean a little bit further back. Shazam lines up a good angle to spray into this one. They would double kill for him, but Roka did meet his mark on the way in. Shazam with another pickup, and he's on pistol, so you can bet for sure he's going to hit that shot. The headshot against Roka to close out, and Shazam goes huge with a massive 4K.
Yeah, well done. Well done. You know, it's sad to say, but like Roka could have just won this round if they had his teammates waited to go down the ramp instead of him coming in for the clutch. If he just lurked his way out to get a kill on inner because no one had seen him crossing. In some situations, you want to have your lurk is known, and you just had to wait and put pressure on your opponents and like make sure they're always like checking their back. But if they don't know you're there, you can go in and get the first kill, then have everyone come down the ramp while everyone's confused.
Oh, double flashes here. The opponent Roka is going to be able to get his vision cleared up first, but by the time he does, Misfits players have both fallen back a little bit further into safe positions, further back on Ivy, so no chance for Roka to trade that kill back. The rest of the team, though, is very quickly established in the Brown Halls, and they're getting ready to swing out onto the B-bomb site here with Shazam and Sick defending it. Flash goes out. Regardless, though, Shazam gets the shot. A second one for him, too. He's feeling it now. 6 kills in the last few rounds alone here.
Yeah, definitely sick off performance. Now, one of Splyce's only opportunities, they didn't win on the T side, and this is going to be a buy save situation if they don't stop it now. So Misfits up to 12, getting to critical territory. That 13-14 mark is where it gets really ugly. And Splyce on one of their potentially last buys. I'd like to see Semphis here with an AK, and I'm curious to see what they're going to try to do. Seems like they're setting up for what looks like a fast outside hit. Maybe Mitch just trying to sneak out to Olaf in their default, and actually him just getting it to T-Con here. Devo Duvek looking for control of his own, just stepping up the ladder.
Just a standard default to open up the round now, and Drone sits back patiently, waits for aggression from Misfits. He's going to get it too. Sick is pushed all the way up a ramp. They also have Shazam sitting in the back halls, but no reason to push beyond that. Almanek getting hit by a flash too, but Mitch maybe doesn't realize it yet. Molly is going to push the player in. Or actually, no, it sends him out.
Yeah, that Molotov could have done so much more if he had a teammate at the top of ladder throwing a Molotov in. They could join in tandem. He could sit out by that T-Con train, wait for that guy to come out if he is there. But, you know, there he just does something by himself, throws a Molotov, and it doesn't actually have that much of an effect. They cleared out ladder, but they still don't even know it's clear.
Yeah, there's still a four-man setup that they have to deal with now if they go forward with this execute. 3 players getting ready to swing in through Ivy, which even that, there's a 2-man setup to defend now too. I don't think Sick is going to be looking towards T-Con. As they go in, they both double peek it, but it's a 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Splyce. Took a risk. Almanek does take down a player coming back down outside of ladder room. He's going to have to deal with a few more though, and they still have the 2 from Ivy to watch out for too, but Almanek snipes out another one through a smoke this time. Drone tries to trade, but he can't get the kill, and Almanek just keeps racking up the kills. It's all on Davey now. He finds 1, and he's got 30 seconds left to get up to the site and find the plant. With that kill though, it did open up a window. However, it's also revealed his own intentions, so he's got to be careful, because now he's going to route back.
Oh wow.
I'm not sure if he saw that, yeah. He's not going to check it. Oh, reacts quickly anyway. Gets that kill into Almanek. He's down very low, 10 HP left. There's only 10 seconds left on the clock when he finally goes for this plant. But buys himself that little bit more time. Shazam going to take his own time, retreating back in through Z to get back into this site. Davey looking for the ace to clutch this out here against Shazam now. He's perfectly aligned to catch him and moving out, and there you go. Davey with a massive clutch and very smartly played gives Splyce another round. They go up to 9.
Nice, nice. That was, I mean, obviously Misfits blew it a little bit there, having the 3v1, going for those individual peaks. I mean, like, I think they could have played that 2v1 together, potentially leaving Shazam alone in the 1v1 with the op is a rough position to be in, but Davey salvages the round in a big way in a situation where, like, they got spammed through that Ivy smoke, the play was understood, took advantage of the situation, so good stuff from him.
And I think that's actually the first round for Splyce in this half as well, so we're only getting something going on the T side there. But it could be short-lived as they're going to quickly rush outside. It's a 2-for-1 trade so far after Roka finds the first kill for Splyce. Moving in, Devo Duvek still sitting up on top of the train. Quickly reacts to find Davey and almost gets a second one of the Semphis, but Shazam will be there to trade that back out. Semphis now left alone, and Sick quickly jumps up onto the train, beats him to the top, and knocks Semphis out of the round to give Misfits their 13th and reset the losing bonus now for Splyce.
Yeah, just way to take a win out of your sails, right? They have no money now, and it's like just after a hero play, they want to ride off that momentum, go for a fast outside hit. I could see the rationale there, but now that they failed that, they have absolutely no money. Are going to be forcing up to try to steal back some of the momentum. Unfortunately, it's going to be versus 2 ops, full kits, utility, and a lot of CTs who know exactly how to win a CT round in this half.
Yeah, this is basically the worst possible situation for Splyce to be in now, especially with the scoreline being what it's at. It'd actually be somewhat better if Davey lost that previous round, as at least they'd have the losing bonus to play off of, but now winning that round with just him left alive at the end of it completely resets them, and they basically have to win this force, otherwise Misfits have a very easy time pushing up to 16 rounds and winning this first map. They'll try to swing outside, already losing 2. Actually not their 3rd just yet. Drone does pick up 1 kill, finds himself the M4, kind of gets lost in the smoke though, and then going outside of it, Devo Duvek is going to take him down. Semphis and Davey, the last 2 left alive. Devo will also find Semphis, and for Davey, he does have the bomb, but he's stuck inside of T-Con, and basically has 0 utility to get outside.
That was like a half committal, like Semphis moving very slowly, Davey staying all the way back with the bomb. There's like very little chance he obviously gets a plant here, so I think I would have liked to see them all like commit a little bit harder, take advantage of at least trading, even if their first player dies, first 2 player dies, pushing through those smokes that they throw. And yeah, I mean, he's riding off a huge clutch, so see where the confidence comes from, but Shazam trades glances and gets the kill, no problem. 14-9 now, Misfits 2 away from winning map 1. Splyce have not much to work with, and because they're actually buying. Okay, that's kind of weird. So they decided on the last round to force up because they were going to have a lot of money. But instead of saving on this one, they're buying again, and now they're going to have to buy again in the following round with just an awful buy. So it
bit of a weird mixed philosophy.
They like chose by buying last round. They like chose not to buy this round, but instead are now going to commit to buying 3 rounds in a row, which is kind of dumb.
So all 5 players going to quickly swing into position in the back halls here by B. Sick actually has a slight hole through the smoke as well to see them pushing back in. Ooh, nice. Just barely hits the shot of Davey. He almost swung a little bit too far there, too, and missed it, but hits the shot and only gets hit for about 20 himself on the return. So nice early kill from them. I believe, are they going to try to do that boost over top to see the back of the sights? No, I don't think so. Sempus is going to peek towards upper here. And they'll start to move back in, just throw themselves at the site and hopefully get themselves in, maybe find a plan at the very least to get them some money, but Shazam just sniping them out one by one, not letting them get away with anything here. Finally a miss from him, and that'll lead to his death actually. His drone looks for multiple pickups, but he can only get that one against Shazam, and they won't even really drop the op. It immediately gets recovered by Sean.
And the 3-peat. This is the easiest road to 3 rounds that Misfits will have in this half. They just three like awful buys, and this time they don't even have, I don't know, they're going to scout again maybe? I'm not sure, but they're going to at least have some nades to work with. The loss bonus increases, which is one thing to look forward to, but literally Misfits are now buying Zeus's because they have so much money. So, good luck.
Yeah, so all CZs except for Sempus, who goes for a Deagle buy. They have utility to line up some kind of an execute, but it's not going to be the greatest. And Amanek will push forward with no fear at all. Devo ready to take this fight too. It's a very fast push though, so it goes 1 for 1. And Amanek's going to be a little bit careful with the timing of this push here. Also the Opera watching for pushes from the old bomb tunnel there, and that'll be Shazam. Shot against Roka. Amanek kills the ladder player, just 2 left alive. Now they did get the bomb over towards CT, but even pushing towards inner. I think Sick's going to be watching out for that one. Sean found Sempus as well, so it's just Drone. One of the few players walking around with an AK now, but it's only because he killed Devodivek. And he's been found by the ops. He's going to get legged there. Shazam will take him down, and there you have it. Misfits will take control over map number 1 of our best of 2 here. So they're going to be able to take that one, and they'll win it with a final score of, I believe, 16-9 at the end of the day.
Kind of what we expected to go down. Like, cool to see Splyce with that strong start at the very least, getting up to 7-2 with a couple of really cool CT setups. But then, you know, when you see Misfits adjusting, that's what's a little bit more scary, and obviously like an overall way better second half where Splyce just made some poor economic decisions and, yeah, bad decisions overall.
All right, so with that said, let's take it over to our analysts to break down map number 1.
You know, I think we said something along the lines of Shazam showing up, getting frags, getting kills. He's going to make it happen.
Yeah, Shazam looked great this whole match. Obviously, Misfits started off a little slow. Many reasons for that, you know, just buying on certain rounds. But at the end of the day, you know, when you let the cards play out, Shazam peaks, Shazam gets kills, Misfits wins.
It's kind of something like the first one to 16 wins the map.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same logic. Like Shazam gets kills, Misfits wins the map.
Yeah, you know? First one to 16 wins. No, there's insane plays. Like he shot somebody through the mid wall from like outside of T mid through the wall, and then he had that insane 4K at inner. The last 2 kills were like Deagle headshots. The first 2 were with the, you know, everyone loves the FAMAS, right? So Shazam making it happen.
Well, let's break down the first half here, and I do believe we have round 8 loaded up for you guys at home. Talk to me a little bit about what's going on here with the Misfits.
Yeah, so round 8 is the first actual execute that Misfits tries on the outside site, and Sempus has all the information here that nobody's going to be coming Ivy, so all the CTs outside can turn and just face forward. Mitch has that up-close position, and Ladder gets the kill, gets the bomb down, right? So Misfits, although they're not playing close mid, the fact that they know nobody's coming Ivy allows them to completely just focus in one direction, right? So there's no kind of like surprise kills. People are playing up close, so they know when the hit's coming in because it's telegraphed, number 1, by the noise that people are making, and then number 2, by Mitch's information he has by playing up close ladder. So kind of a weird setup ending up in favor of Splyce there, but because, you know, Misfits have they have Sean Gares, they're able to adjust, which is what we see in the next round.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Actually, this mouth, you took the words. Let's load up round 9 now and take a look at just the adaptation there from the Misfits.
So in this round, as you see, as Jason talked about the adjustments, this time Misfits decided to send a heavier down towards ladders. See, Team Splyce did get 2 kills off the bat, but with Shazam and Amanek kind of maneuvering by that bomb trite, exchanging kills pretty well. It was just nice to see that Sean from the last round saw how passive Team Splyce was. So this round is like, let's overload them in the middle. Let's get in between Sandwich, Olaf, Hell area. Let's clear it out and swing in the bomb train, and just that right there was the turning point of the match where Team Misfits started just running away with
they
it.
like figured it out. It's like how you always say, you know, when the execute's not working, you always tell people you want to see them make that explosive contact play, and that's what they did, right? They got destroyed by the telegraphed place, and then they just did something fast, right? They weren't able to react. It's that horrible feeling when you're a CT playing bomb train, and you know you're kind of like swiveling around the two like stacks on top, and you don't know where T is going to come from, and then they're just up on you. You can't do anything about it.
I mean, even when we look at this now that we're wrapping up the first half conversation, Splyce start off with a decently strong half. I believe they run it up some 7-1, something along the lines. And some of that a lot on the back of not giving up picks here and there. But flipping the script now and looking over at the second half, let's load up the second pistol round here and check out a stack from the Misfits towards the ladder room.
Yeah, I mean, you almost have to note this, right? Like, as soon as I see 3 CTs going out Z into ladder room, I'm like, we have to look at this round, right? So what happens is that Splyce, they smoke back green and they go out Ivy, and then they're just running, right? Because they naturally expect, they've been conditioned to expect a CT making contact with them somewhere back green Ivy, right? So they start running, they give up the sound, and it's interestingly enough, right, this weird kind of misfit type pistol strat allows them to win because Splyce don't expect anything like this to come out. It's kind of like this really innovative setup that I just dig seeing, right? Like, this is just a cool idea. I've never seen anything like that before.
It's very nice because, you know, they have so many people on their ladder. If they go outside, they could all challenge them from like E-box area. If they go inside, they could do a fast up the ladder flank. I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you put a lot on Shazam there, right? You just don't expect the T's to walk all the way out Ivy to either back Old Bomb or to Santa. Try, like, does anyone actually have the balls to do that? I doubt it, you know?
So we see the Misfits, you know, have a sort of, you know, I don't want to call it a mediocre half, but a 7-8 half, go on to win now 16-9. What is there to say, though, on the other side of the equation here? What is going right for Splyce?
They do have the ability to play up above their opponents, but I guess the negative part is they sometimes bring it back down. And I think they have a good game plan, but they need to know how to adjust if it doesn't work. Because you saw right there, Misfits adjusted to Team Splyce and then just ran away with it, and Splyce could not adapt to Misfits and just completely fell apart.
Yeah, that's kind of like I'd say that's almost like a hallmark of not a top team, is when you try to start adjusting, you've never really discussed that second or third level adaptation game plan with your team, right? If you're an IGL, like, you haven't really discussed, oh, what happens if our normal like 3 to 4 strats start failing, like, and then they're failing in this way, what are we gonna do, right? So now you're calling in that like 15 seconds of freeze time on top of talking about what you're gonna buy, and it just starts to get really chaotic, and I think that's what ended up happening there. Just the lack of ability to adapt on a team level.
You know, fix it on the fly type idea. And I think that kind of definitely plagues quite a few teams, and you see that sort of bring them down. But we do see Train come to a close. We're now going to be moving on to Nuke between Splyce and Misfits. And just right off the top, who are we favoring in this one?
Misfits. I think this used to be one of the go-to maps a while back. I believe. Was it Echo Fox? I don't know.
I think Echo Fox got famously dumpstered by VP at E-League on Nuke, and that was kind of like the unraveling of that CSGO team. Sad enough to say, right? Like, that was kind of like, well, all right, this is that. But I don't know. Misfits has won some big matches on Nuke, and I was saying that Nuke is a super tactical map. They have big airs. I like your points.
At least they tried, right?
Yeah.
Well, look, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be diving right into Nuke between the Misfits and Splyce. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, as the last map of the night, you don't want to go anywhere. So make sure you're here with us when we come back.